I feel like I'm doing the same video every single week. Yeah, it's going to be a long season.
McNair gives it to George, running right up the middle. Touchdown! Titans! There are no flags on the field! It's a miracle!
The safety, now you're one-on-one with it.
Shows why he's the man! In trouble. Sack!
What's up, Titan Nation? How's everyone doing? Yes, the Tennessee Titans fall to the New York Jets 24-17 in their home opener. Oh, man, there's a lot to break down, a lot to talk about today for this video. But first and foremost, I want to say thank you to every single person that went to the Mr. Titan event. We had a blast. Thank you for the fans coming out, supporting me. Thank you for the players, the former players that came out, Donnie Nicky, Dexter McCluster, and the one and only T-Rack for joining us. Had a great time. Again, thank you for everyone who's put in the effort and supported me throughout the years. The fourth annual, four years in a row at the Mr. Titan in the Rudder in Hendersonville. Great time. Thank you to the restaurant of the Rudder for having us, for having me there. So thank you guys so much. I will be doing a separate video of the event itself. But let's talk about this, okay? We got to talk about this because yes, the event was great. Yes, Saturday was beautiful. But man, oh man, what came up after was not good, y'all. Was not good at all. Let's talk about it right now. The stats, okay? Will Levis was 19 for 28, 192 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Where the interception, we will talk about in a little bit how I feel and what I feel about that situation, about that pick. We have Tony Pollard for 17 carries, 62 yards. Calvin Ridley, 4 receptions, 77 yards, and a touchdown. And might I add, that touchdown, I'm still in shock that he made that catch. I thought when it happened, when I was there at the game live watching it, I thought it was another pick, to be honest with you. I had no reaction because I thought it was a pick. And then all of a sudden he's jetting across the end zone, holding the ball, and like, wait, he caught that? Amazing. Again, we'll talk a little bit about Calvin Ridley and his role for the Tennessee Titans, what he means to this team, because I think he means a lot more than half of these receivers we have, even a little bit more than D-Hop. Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers. He did his thing. Defensive-wise, the Titans did good, containing him for the most part. Defense was no problem. Aaron Rodgers was 18 for 30, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, the difference in the game, guys, the difference between all this are the Titans' turnovers. The turnovers, and we'll get right into them, okay? Turnovers could make or break. We saw last game against the Bears, and then we see that trend again. And everyone was thinking, hopefully, everyone's like, hey, Will Levis, yes, he's still a young quarterback. Yeah, consider it almost his semi-rookie season. He's going to have growing pains, right? He's going to make mistakes. But you think that he would make the same mistake twice? Yes, back-to-back games. It sucks. It happens. It's what happens when you try to do too much with what you got. Limit yourself. And I think with time, he will get better at doing. Yes, it sucks. Sometimes he holds the ball longer than expected. Then sometimes he does a little too much. He runs. At least now he's running and he's sliding. He's not trying to take down a linebacker as he's going. He's sliding down, taking the less hits as much as possible, which is nice. But then you have that play again, the second quarter. We're up 7-0. We're driving, which is very good. It's positive, okay? And there's going to be some negatives, obviously. There's going to be some criticism. But I'm going to try to keep them balanced, because obviously there's some negative. There's going to be some positive as well. And just another boneheaded decision, another doing too much. I mean, you had the time to take the sack or throw the ball away, but he decides to try to pitch it, again, causing a fumble. We lose possession. Again, regardless of what the outcome could have been, 7 points, it looks like it was going for 3 points, but even 3 points would have made a big difference in the game, as you saw the score, at the final score. But, we keep seeing this mistakes, and people are like, oh, we need to pull the plug on him. People are saying, well, Will Levis is done. He's not the quarterback. He's not it. You don't want to have that situation like a Bryce Young situation, as you heard from the Carolina Panthers. They're going to bench their, number 1 draft pick, Bryce Young, which in Will Levis, everyone's like, oh, well, do you think the Titans should do that same thing for Will Levis? I don't think so. He's obviously the go-to guy. Until he continues to make the same mistake. So say, next game against the Packers, he does another bonehead decision like that, which could lead and could cost the game. Because he could, like I said earlier in this video, he did get picked off. But the pick, to me, in that case, wasn't a bad pick at all. I was kind of honing down on that, trying to explain to people. I'm like, man, we're not showing any deep threats. We're not taking any chances. And I'm fine with taking a deep chance, a deep ball, and having an incomplete. It shows the defense, hey, like, this guy can still throw the ball. He's still dangerous. We got to, But when we're doing, like, these little screen passes constantly over and over again, he's not throwing the ball more than 5 or 6 yards. There's no threat. And and especially if you're not using play action, which the Titans weren't doing, then the threat is not there. So I was happy that he decided to launch it. Yeah, it was into double coverage. It happens. It's not a big deal, because look at the Calvin Ridley touchdown. I mean, that was in double coverage at the end as well, and Calvin Ridley came up with the touchdown. But the difference between Calvin Ridley and Treylon Burks is, people are like, oh, it's Treylon's fault. Burks should have been more aggressive. He had it in his hands, and the guy snatched it out of it. Yeah, he should have been a little bit more aggressive like that. But then why are we throwing the ball to Treylon Burks if we kind of know how he is? He's not a D-Hop. Again, that game against the Atlanta Falcons last year, he threw the ball up, and you had a veteran coming down making the play. Unfortunately, Burks is not that player. So yeah, if it was D-Hop, it would have been a different situation. D-Hop would have grabbed that ball. He would have never let someone snatch it out like that. But it's Treylon Burks. So like I said, I'm okay with that interception. That interception's okay. I was like, hey, it was a good attempt. It was a good try. You shot it down there. Don't worry about it. I'm okay with that. Incompletes like that all day. That's fine. Let them feel a little bit of threat of being like, okay, he's still throwing the deep ball, regardless of what happens. It gives the defense something to think about. So that interception, I wasn't upset. Like I said, what upset me was the boneheaded decision. Like I said, you could have came up with some points, and we didn't. That drop between Calvin Ridley, man, between the two defenders, man, what a beautiful display of athleticism. It shows you, though, too, what Willis had. Will Levis has. Will Levis could play. He could take over a game. We've seen it before against the Dolphins. So he has moments, and that's, I think, the frustrating part. But with time, I think it's growing pains as well. A lot of Titan fans, including me sometimes, we're just we want everything to work automatically once something's put in. Unfortunately, there is growing pains. Same thing with the offensive line. Sometimes the offensive line is good, sometimes the offensive line is bad. And guess what? This is a very, very young offensive line. There's going to be growing pains. There's going to be some ugly games, okay? It's the way it is. I wish that you could just plug in players and automatically they get synced, they line up, they know what to do, and everything works out perfectly. I wish it would happen like that. Man, it would be awesome. But there's times like this where things can get really ugly. And it's just going to take more and more snaps, unfortunately. And maybe 1 or 2 more games like this, Hopefully, Will Levis can clean up. I think, like I said, he's a young quarterback. He's still developing. New coach, new system. yes, just give it some time. That's it. Just give it some time. I understand if you're upset. I totally understand if you're upset, bothered, think Will Levis is not the guy. I wasn't a fan of Will Levis when we picked him up. But guess what? He's under center. I'm going to cheer for him. I'm gonna root for him. I'm gonna hope he succeeds. I'm gonna hope he cleans up. So guess what? Next week when they play the Packers, no matter how many times I complain about Will Levis, guess what? Will Levis is my guy. Okay? And that's the way it is. So talking about that Calvin Ridley touchdown, it just shows you what type of player Calvin Ridley is. He had his first career rushing touchdown, and then he had that insane catch. But that's what you need in this offense, that spark, someone to go out and get it. Calvin Ridley is that wide receiver. I love it. I would love to see a little bit more from the other wide receivers. We can't have Ridley do everything. Obviously, D-Hop is not 100%, and I think he only had one target for 8 yards, and that's it. And he was kind of just like a decoy of whatnot. But, excuse me, but we need that spark. Calvin Ridley is, I'm excited to see a little bit more of Calvin Ridley. Hopefully they get that dynamic and they get that connection between each other. Now you just need it with the other players as well. Defense, can't say anything bad about the defense. I can't say something bad about the special teams. Oh man, the special teams is rough. Like I said, things like that change the game, change the momentum completely. Again, a block punt, another one. If I was Stonehouse, I would be pissed off talking to each player on the sideline. Again, another block punt. We're going to get the punter killed. We're going to get Stonehouse killed for another season. This cannot happen again. It's unexcusable when you have 4 defenders against 8 and we still can't block them. How do you miss that? That's unbelievable. That is atrocious. That cannot happen. Things need to be taken in account for that special teams unit because there's no way in hell that someone should block that punt. You know? So understand Stonehouse being very, very upset. Visibly upset during the game, after the game, on the sideline. You can see he's upset. It messes up his whole thing. So nothing against him. Like I said, defense, Harold Landry having a sneaky good season. Love what he's doing. Again, affecting the ball. Sweat. Same thing with Jeffrey Simmons. Even though Jeffrey Simmons is not getting the most sacks, he's still being disruptive. A lot of people are saying that there was some, I forgot what on Twitter, they're saying like, Jeffrey Simmons has fallen off or something. Like, are you kidding me? They clearly don't know defense. But again, I love Ernest Jones. Pickup from the Rams, linebacker, is becoming one of my favorite linebackers for the Tennessee Titans. The man is everywhere. He's a stud. He has the nose for the ball, and I'm excited to see more and more of him. Looks like he's just fitting into the defense perfectly. So that was a really good, solid pickup. Other than that, this team's it's still early, guys. It's still early in the season. It's only 2 games. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's it could get tired. I can understand how the frustrations can start building up already, but with time, I think this team will start to pick it up and get it together. And that's with all Titan teams. How long you've been watching them, they have a slow start, and hopefully Callahan could get these boys on the right path and we start winning some games. I think once the first win happens, I think they'll get the confidence back. I think they'll have a little bit different swagger, and then we can move forward and we can see what we can do with this season. So next we got is the Packers, and after the Packers, I think it's the Colts. So we'll see what happens. Again, everyone's 0-2 in the division except the Texans. Texans are 2-0. The rest, so it's again the division's still up there. So as long as we win our division games, let's see what happens. But other than that, guys, remember, Titan Tuesday, I go live tonight, 7 p.m. Central Time to 8 p.m. Hope to see you guys there. Love you guys so much. And be sure to check out the video of the 4th annual Mr. Titan event once I edit and put them all together. So thank you guys so much for hearing me. Don't worry about it. We'll get him next time. And always, tighten up. Let's go, guys.